the Dream and Show. This is your host, Brian Nyambati, and this is the Success Table. This is where we get to share inspiring stories, we get to share experience, and the real life that most people have gone through to become who they are. We have done a lot, and we will do a lot. And in this episode today, we are having a very, very special guest. Guess who she is. She is an actor in a very, very popular show in our Kenyan television, that is Varshita. And as most people know her as Mama Varshita, today we will know her by her real name. She's called Vaishali. She's an actor, a designer. She's been a teacher. At a very, very young age, she's done a lot of hustles. And actually we'll get to understand more about that as she shares a story. Join me and let's all get to learn about Vaishali today, her story, her experience, her down moments, and most of all, her experience and how she became who she is today. Karibuni sana. Sana.
Asante.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm here. Hi. My name is basically Vaishali Morjaria. Close to Varshita, I guess. If I have a daughter, I guess I should just name her that to make it easier.
Yes.
To Mama Varshita everywhere. And, well, wow, where shall I start? I'm from here. Most people now naturangia thao wanafikiri mimi ni mzungu, but I'm basically Kenyan, born and brought up in Luanda, Western. That's Ushago for me, and that's my ancestral home. I'm the 4th generation born and raised in Kenya, so I consider myself Kenyan more than the Indian part. Na good side, like, when people say Muindi, I find it insulting. I'm like, where? Me, I'm Kenyan. So that's my background. I studied here, did my A-levels, and I was given a scholarship to go to the UK. So I went there for studying. I have 3 degrees. My first one is in fine art. The second, my bachelor's was in fashion, and my master's is in jewelry and silversmithing.
So Vaishali, basically, let me cut you short.
Sure.
Because I want to understand your educational background as well. Simply because now you're telling us you have 3 degrees.
Yes.
That is in art, you have one in fashion,
yes.
The other one is
jewelry and silversmithing.
Wow. Now look at this particular experience, this particular expertise is what many people want to understand. But when it comes to education, you see many people, they have just studied one course, they're outside here running up and down saying they have studied so much, but when it comes to real sense, when they look at who Varshita is as portrayed in our TV screens and who Vaishali really is, we come and get to see that there is this particular personality we get out of you, that you have studied, you have that particular experience, and it's something that you portrayed both in the acting industry and also in the fashion industry. You'll be telling more to us, especially when it comes now to the acting and the fashion industry. What was your life like when you grew up in Kenya in an environment full of the African people?
I loved it. Since I was a kid, all my friends were Africans. I think there's this thing when you're brought up in shags, you never see the differences. So that's why I find it very difficult when you're in Nairobi and people start saying, oh, she's Indian, or this person's Kenyan, you shouldn't be close. And I'm like, no, at the end of the day, it's not about color or your status or where you live. It's about you as a person. So I engraved that into my life, and I think me as a person became that person who doesn't see color, status, where you work, what you do. It's about you. If I like you, that's it. If you're my friend, we're friends. That's been always my thing, and that's why I've even been teaching that to my students in school when I was teaching, as well as even now through Varshita. It's good that I'm promoting the intercultural relationships and the social understanding that at the end of the day, we are all just humans. It's the color that people are now pointing fingers at, but should that really be it? Can't we just love each other for what we are and who we are, and just be happy? Because at the end of the day, the differences, and when we start pointing fingers, it actually causes so many problems, like the way we saw in the States, we see over here. Racism is just not supposed to be a thing. It's just wrong. So I feel like I'm so glad that I was brought up in Western and in shags. That's like Luanda is completely interior.
Yes.
And my grandparents used to live there. So every holiday we would be dying to go there and spend time there. And then we were studying in Nairobi because my family was here. Because my dad was from Mombasa and my mom's from Western. So
Wow.
yeah, so we've never been taught to differentiate.
That
Yeah.
is very, very inspiring. You know, understanding your background, knowing that you've been brought up in this culture and you've actually embraced the people and you liked even what.
Yes,
we
people
do.
laugh when they come home sometimes, or they say ulikula nini jana, and I say matoke, and they're like, what? You eat matoke? I'm
You
like,
also eat
"You should-"
matoke.
And my mom is from Western, and all of us are brought there, so I love kiteri, I love muhogo. Like in our house, it will never be Indian cuisine. It will be one day it will be Indian, the next day it will be matoke, the next day it will be, cassava. Like yesterday we had cassava. So you see what I mean? And then when I did the Kikuyu weddings, they would be like, "Kai, ni muhindi designer, sasa atakula nini?" And I'm like, I'm good. Mukana mokimo au jahe is my favorite. And they used to get a shock. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool because I've been taught to eat whatever it is. Food is food. And then it's so, I love the Kenyan cuisine, funny enough. Like even when I went to Coast, it was so funny. I went for a break. The 2 days I had like pasta and pizza. The next day I was like, mukana muchicha, muchachi. No, what is it called? In Costa it's not sukuma. It's muchicha, yeah?
It's muchicha.
Yeah, and ugali.
Exactly.
That's what I had for dinner the rest of the days.
And it's sweet, exactly.
I love it. You see, so boga kienyeji, terere. The other day I think we were talking with Robert and I said, yeah, I had terere. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. So you see, I think culturally, if you embrace just people and lifestyle and different cultures,
Yes.
it's so beautiful. And I think because I even traveled so much, it helped me that I can eat French cuisine and appreciate what it is about. I can eat Kenyan cuisine. When I was in Morocco, I tasted, the Moroccan cuisine. So I think it's all about you just being you and appreciating everything the world has to offer to you, whether it's food or people or lifestyle or anything.
That is exactly what people want to hear. Your story. And your story inspires many people. You've talked about you traveling. You've gone places. Don't you think it is something everyone wants? Everyone wants that. And I want us to focus much on that because considering that you've successfully scaled your career, you've successfully grown in your field of expertise.
Yes.
In this case, probably, you can tell us more about the industry that you focused on. Just a brief of the industry or the industries that you are currently into, because I know you're an actor, I know you're a fashion designer, but I want to hear from you specifically what do you do
Yes.
for passion for yourself that makes you happy, and number two, what do you do for upkeep, what do you do for a living,
Yes.
people want to do the talent, people want to do the passion thing, but they're like, no, will I eat my talent if it doesn't pay me? But they want to hear like, which industry are you in that you feel happy, you feel passionate about, and which industry are you in also that actually gives you a living that makes you are today, making sure that you are even coping up with post-COVID and all that,
Yes. Well, I would say, funny enough, I was the odd child in my house. The rest were typical, how shall I say, kids. African Indian kids are taught, be a scientist, be a doctor, be an accountant. But when you say, I want to be an artist, everyone just looks at you like, that's a hobby, good for you, but you need to do something better. So I always had the thing that that's what makes me happy. The fine art, I always wanted to do fashion. There was a show called, what is the name? It used to be Rich and something beautiful. And it used to be a fashion runway show on TV. And I used to watch it and I thought, one day I want to be there. So I started this when I was, 9, 10, and I used to always paint, and my dad always used to be on my case because I was really good at studies as well. But my love was for art. So when I did my O-levels, my GCE, I passed with flying colors in everything else, but art was amazing. And I told him, you see, that's where my heart belongs, Dad. And then slowly I was trying to talk to him, but as a parent he was scared that will art feed you? I think that's everyone's fear as a parent.
Of course, there's that particular African notion, not even Africa, even when you go
I think
to
it's
Western,
everywhere. Yes.
they usually believe like you need to do something practical, you need to do the careers that are recognized. Be a doctor, you know, doctors are paid good, be a teacher,
I think it's a long-term
services,
process that in the long run, will you still be able to feed yourself? And of course, they're looking at your future where you have a family, you know, so they're basically trying to keep a balance. So I know in Western, they do allow you to do whatever you feel like.
True.
But I think we got there just recently, where parents are now agreeing that, okay, if you have a passion for music, as we've seen, yeah, musicians do well, let's do it. But till that notion came about, people were worried. So for me, my dad was worried, and I just wanted to do art. I just wanted to do fashion from day one. You just asked me even when I was 12, that's the thing I wanted to do. And so I stuck to my guns. I said, no, this is what I'm going to do. We fought, and then I got a scholarship for the UK. I was given the scholarship when I was 16. So they told me, you're too young, so you will have to at least finish your A-levels. And so I already had a scholarship lying with the university. And then, funny enough, everything worked out, and we fought, but I still made my way through UK. And he said, okay, as you really want to do this, 1 year, alafu rudi Kenya, and then you sort yourself out. I was like, that's my sorting. You know, in my head, I was always saying that. So I went there, and of course, UK is expensive. And my dad was someone who taught us that I will not spoon feed you. Ujipange. I will help you kidogo, but you need to learn what life is out there, and especially if you want to do art. So I had a job since I was 18, as I was in uni, even my first year. So when I went there, I got through my fine art year, and then I got another scholarship for fashion because I did a project on fashion. So when I got that, I came back home and I said, I'm going back. I'm going for fashion. And he was just like, okay, you know, if that's what you want, but just know I don't think there's a future in Kenya. And then it's true, at that time, there was no fashion or work for designers or, you know, that sort of thing. So I just went and I did it, and then again I passed, I got another scholarship, did my master's in jewelry, and now again that was completely different from fashion. So I think he thought she's just confused. But I did well. And then even during fashion and jewelry, my work was, when I finished my master's, I came to Kenya. And funny enough, my work was selected from the whole university to travel the whole of Europe. And I won an award as designer of the year that year in UK.
It was an amazing.
Can you imagine? Yes, and everything was just coming through. I think it was because I stuck to what I wanted to do, and I was very sure I might struggle, but I will make it. And even in the UK, when I was doing my master's, my dad told me, hey, you know what, I'm not even paying for anything. You sort yourself out to see what you want to do. Because me, I can't keep supporting you, because you if I tell you to study, you keep studying till you're 60, which is true. Even right now, if someone told me I have $1 million, I'll be like, travel and educate myself more. That's my dream, to keep educating myself, because I think the world is evolving so fast and things are moving so fast that the more you study, the more you're aware of things out there, and the more skills you have, the more you survive. And that's how I even survived COVID, and I'm going to come back to that.
And the conversation is getting interesting, very, very interesting.
But I'm glad.
Now, look at this particular moment whereby you're even speaking of what we portray, that is education. Learning. You know, learning, as portrayed by Nelson Mandela, who once said that it's like an ocean, it has no end.
Yes, it's true.
And of course, I don't know, because the Kenyan context is the moment somebody has gone through school, you are finished even according to the curriculum, that is the universities and all that. You know, most people, the moment they close that book down, and they're like, me, I'm done with education.
Yeah.
They come outside here, they're now go. They don't know that as the trends are changing, the education is also changing. So coping up with the education, because there are so many programs. Like for us, we do self-online courses, which are advanced according to the technology.
Yes.
Which means even to our viewers today, they must actually even get to know about that learning is endless.
Yes.
As you've seen, Vaishali has told us today, if you stop learning, even you end up probably maybe your career might dry up because you cannot cope up with the trends and the technological advancements. So in this case, make sure when you come across good stuff, training programs, courses, you sign up for them. It is a period of just part-time learning as you consider doing your stuff ahead.
And I think COVID has taught us that online classes work.
Of
So
course.
what is your excuse? Like honestly, if you can go for a tutorial on YouTube and say, I want to learn this particular makeup, let's do it.
Yes.
That's for fun, right?
Yes.
So why can't you go on YouTube and learn other things? YouTube is teaching a lot of things. The internet is full of ideas. It's full of even career opportunities online. Go on it. But first you have to be, you have to know how to work with the internet. You have to know how to search for opportunities. You have to know how to do things. For that, you need a background. So if you're not very good with certain things, like let's say I say I'm an actor, but I want to learn editing. See, I have to go and learn it. Yes, a friend might come and say, I will teach you the perks of it. Yes, good. But if you have a background in it, you're not going to, I always tell my students, even when I was a teacher, I used to tell them, don't always think you're going to be in Kenya for the rest of your life. It's always good to grow your wings. So if you get an opportunity in Dubai or in UK or the States, they need papers. No one gives you a job without papers. You're just going to end up going to clean maybe toilets or work as a waitress. Do you want to really do that? Whereas in Kenya, maybe you have a master's in psychology or in IT, but you're going for those kind of jobs because you did not get the right papers at the right time. So get your papers, always have them, keep studying. I always tell people, we learn something every day.
Every day.
Keep your eyes open and your ears open. You could come and tell me something and be like, yo, that's an idea, you know what, that could actually work out as a business venture. Or even otherwise in life, we're all growing every day. None of us are perfect. So what I could say could actually influence you or make you feel, yeah, I didn't see my life like that. Nakakwa backseater, but it's not like I have to live there all my life.
Yeah.
Now as a move, I can start saving 1K every day or every month, and I save 3K. And it's true, when we have loans, which I did have,
Yes.
It's funny, but yes, I did have loans. When we have loans, because it's a bank that's asking you to pay, whatever the case, you will make sure you pay it.
Yes.
But now once you've paid the loan, have you noticed how that money that you're paying the bank, unakula tu vibaya, then you don't know, your cash ilienda. But it's because you didn't discipline yourself.
True.
Save. I think COVID has again showed everyone, save some money for the future. Yes, people say, especially the youth these days say, life is, you don't know when life is going to end, so we just live for today. Yes, enjoy for today, but there is a tomorrow.
Of course.
And we have to be hopeful that tomorrow we're waking up. Like every night we go to sleep, we don't know whether we'll wake up, but we tell God, thank you for the day, and I hope I wake up tomorrow. You see, and you don't even sometimes put an alarm, but you wake up. So you already in your mind know there is a tomorrow. So why not do that with your future?
Well, and I can now see how Vaishali has been surviving
Yes.
during this COVID period. You see, that open-mindedness,
Yes.
that craft of when an opportunity comes, I grab it, I learn, I know how it's done. I like it because that is the kind of life our people need to embrace outside.
Yes, especially the youth. I think the youth feel like once you've done high school, now hustle to, the small jobs. Yes, do that. Make your money. If you're paying for your house, good for you. I'm so happy that a lot of youth are now living in Nairobi and they're hustling for their money and they're paying for their own place. Great. But there's something beyond that. You can't be doing that all your life.
True.
So you need to grow as a person, because sasa, that's when things start falling apart, and then you're like, yo, the hustle that I was doing last month, it's not working during COVID. So what am I doing now? And that's why a lot of youth are going through mental health issues. They don't know what to do. They're going into depression. But you could have worked on yourself, and even now it's never late. Go online, get a course done. Get your friends to, maybe even if you're doing, what are those called, attachments. Get in there. Don't fear what life has to offer, because if you don't try it, you won't know. Honestly, I feel the youth needs to wake up and just say like, hustling is good, but I need to have a future plan. Because at the end of the day, bills will come without asking you. They don't ask you like, hello, are you ready? I'm ready to take your money. They just
Sure.
You can fall sick. Your parents can fall sick. Like I go through that. I live with my mom. So if I'm not prepared, I know sometimes now I'm like, yo, I don't have that money, but there is a way I can now get it from somewhere else, because I know I will survive in any way. Just like I know if I go somewhere, even if it's not Kenya, I go to the States, I go to Dubai, I go anywhere, any country, I will survive, because I've got so many skills. If one doesn't get picked, the other one will.
Exactly.
So don't only focus on one thing. That's why I was telling my students, like some of them wanted to be dentists, but they're great artists. And I used to tell them, fine, your parents want that and you want to do that, but your passion is even art. So on the side, you can still sketch, you can still paint, you can maybe at some point even start selling those on the side, as commission pieces. If you're a great artist, you can do that. So I think always leave your ends open. Don't tell yourself you can't do something or it's hard. And everything is hard in life, but you always have to work for it. Like I survived all my degrees while I was working. I even worked as a waitress. Then I became a peer consultant. I was a counselor. I had 3 jobs during my master's.
You worked as a waitress?
Yes.
Somebody might not even
Funny
see
now.
that as well.
Yes.
Some people, they just see you and they see, Vaishali, she's been to the UK, she studied good, but they don't really know that when life starts teaching you,
yes,
they teach you from the same place they teach him or her.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying it.
The process is like it is the same.
Yeah.
It is us to impress that process to move forward.
True, because it's not like I didn't go through my phases. I told you my dad was the kind that he told me, you're on your own. So I had to learn that, and I was in a different country, Manze. It wasn't even Kenya where I can just run and say, I don't have food today. It's like, sort yourself out. So it's not like I didn't go through all those processes. I've been through a lot of my struggles, but I've overcome them. And even today, it's not like I don't go through them.
Wow.
You go through them every day, but you have to find a way of passing them.
And it takes us to our next section, that is the challenges that you faced. You see, challenges are part of life.
Yes.
And towards the end of the session, or after finish this session, the challenges, you will probably also tell us some of your desperate moments. There are those times you've always wished to do this and that, but haiwezi.
Yeah.
It's like it cannot happen. You just have to go through it. There are those desperate moments you feel like giving up, you feel like life is not taking me anywhere, but you've told me that these are challenges you go through and you overcome them.
Yes.
For the audience, people are watching this because so far I believe they are already learning, they are already getting inspired.
Well, I hope so.
And practically, because personally I am learning and I'm getting and you are getting inspired, it means people are watching this show today, they are going to also get inspired. So share your challenges. Let's resonate with the people, so that there's somebody who is in that situation today and is like, they don't have hope. But if they see or they listen to you and you tell them, I've passed through this, I've been through downs, through desperate moments, and these are the things I've gone through. But I overcome them, and this is what I did to be who I am today.
I think your show will be the first that I'll share a personal experience that I went through, and I've never spoken about it to anyone. But I guess now is the time, because at some point we need to talk about it, right?
Yeah, actually this is the success table. Just to cut you short, this the success table, we share everything, all the way from the experience, all the way from the story, the journey that somebody has gone through, the downs, the ups, because we want to learn everything. We want to get inspired, and at the end of the day, we want to learn something that's going to uplift us. So let's go on, let's continue. Vaishali is going to share with us our challenges, our desperate moments, and how she overcome them. Remember, we are at Sunstar Hotel, and this hotel is located along Thika Road, a place to visit. We have had a very, very good time here, very, very good environment. So anytime you feel like getting a very, very private place, a good place to visit Sunstar Hotel. Karibuni sana. Let's continue with our show today.
Sure. So I think my challenges in UK, I already said it. There were times in the UK because I was doing jewelry, gold and silver. So it's very expensive. And as I told you, my dad had backed off. So I was paying accommodation, the fees, food materials, art materials are naturally very expensive, be it in Kenya or UK or wherever. And basically I was doing 3 jobs. I was the PR consultant for the university. I've been a counselor. I've been trained since I was in my first year of university. So I used to counsel. That used to pay me better than the other jobs. So that used to pay for the bigger things. And then at lunch times, I would rush back from my campus to the other campus because I used to work at the art shop, selling the products that the university used to keep. So it wasn't much money. So I would be working 2 days for counseling. PR I was doing within the university at my campus, and then every lunchtime I would have to take a bus and rush and get the money from the shop, because over there it's hourly. So I'd give 1 hour of lunch there. I wouldn't take lunch, so that I could just pay for the bus and for food. And some days over there, like there were days that were so hard that sometimes I didn't have food in the house, but now na tu lazima nilipe transport niende uni, and then of course I need to pay for the materials. So I used to eat.
Cutting you short.
Sure.
There are times also you used to go without food in the house.
Yeah, and it's natural. There's nothing wrong with it. I used to eat a pie, 1 pie a day. It used to be what, 120 shillings here a day. So you can imagine I was surviving on a pie or 2, or when I get home I just get a slice of bread or 2, na kumana turungi. The biscuits, there are days that I have seen that I have gone through those things. And that time I was doing my master's, I really wanted to show my dad and myself that I can survive. Yes, I will go through the hurdles, I will eat less, I will not spend on unnecessary things, because I know where my dream is, I know what I want to become. And funny enough, the collection that I worked without eating is the one that got selected to tour around Europe. My work is actually placed in Sweden at a gallery for life after I won the award. So that's an achievement. You see what I mean? So struggles don't necessarily always have to end up in a bad way, or if you don't see the future after the struggle, you will remain there. Manze, I couldn't stay there. I knew I had to work hard. I had to get my degree. I had to finish my master's, and my collection was something I was doing it from my heart.
Wow.
And I believed in that collection, and look what happened. You see what
your
I mean?
art collection, I can see. You brought us some good books here.
Yes.
International Contemporary Masters here 209. I went through them and they are very, very fabulous. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
And art actually is at the heart of so many people.
Yes.
Because something like this is so incredible and commendable as well. And for the achievements you've already gone across Africa, across the globe, because I know you've won achievements in the UK, you've won achievements in Africa, or South Africa. Here in Kenya, I know you and I cannot mention, but it is a very, very good achievement.
Yes.
And very, very incredible to know that.
I always say, even when I came here, people used to make fun of me. When I go to the community dinners and stuff, and it always stained me because everyone was like, yeah, I'm a doctor, I'm a dentist, I'm an optometrist, and I got up and I said, I'm a fashion designer and I have a master's in jewelry, and no one had anything to say, and I was like, why? It's a degree. And people said, oh, we didn't know it would be a degree, I thought it was just a side hobby that you're doing. And I told them, I'll prove to you that it's not a hobby, that I'm going to make my name with it. And that's the day I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this, not for others, but for myself as well.
Yeah.
And when I came through as well, immediately I got Catwalk Kenya. It was a runway show for DSTV on Mnet, and I got in as one of the designers, and it was amazing because I was winning, and then I stopped winning at some point, and then someone did actually comment you can't win for Kenya because you're not Kenyan. Your color does not reflect that. When you win,
they were discriminating.
so you see, I went through the racism as part as well, but I didn't tell myself, no, I'm just going to sit there and cry about it. Yes, I did for a little while, and then and then I suddenly was in the media. Once I finished, I was in the industry boom, and so the big shops were like, where did she come from? She was not even here yesterday. So again, I went through a bit of racism and that part of like, you're ulikuja tu jana, you're just a kid. So I want to tell the youth, people might treat you like that Ray, you just graduated the other day, what's wrong with you? You're coming to take our place. It's not about competition.